So if you're currently working a traditional or corporate sales job, or you're looking to enter into the sales industry as a whole, whether that be door knocking, cold calling, or you're dealing with the whole, client acquisition side of things, I suggest you pay attention for the next 10 to 15 minutes here. I want to give you the complete rundown of remote high ticket closing versus a traditional sales job, and why, if you're thinking of entering the sales space, I really recommend you consider high ticket closing. So the following might sound like you. You're working a corporate sales job and you're probably making okay money, but you're working super long hours and working your ass off just to make a small commission. You have to find, nurture, and close all of your own leads and deal with the whole client acquisition side of things, building out your pipeline each and every month. You might be part of a big sales team already, but you're just finding it hard to scale to that sort of 6 figures, 10K a month mark. And in order to do that, you have to work there a really long time. You might have seen people making hundreds of thousands a year online and thought you want to slice that pie too. And you might have even considered starting your own business, but you didn't know where to start, or you simply gave up on it. Or if you simply want more time, location, and financial freedom, but you're unsure where to start, even possible working in sales. And 4 years ago, I was just like you. I spent 2 years trying to figure out how I could make money online, from anywhere in the world, and ultimately live life on my own terms. And just like you, I started seeing all these various different ways of making money online through, loads of different business models, like the Amazon FBA, drop shipping, trading, crypto, NFTs, agency, e-commerce, or whatever else you've seen. And whilst these business models can make you a lot of money, obviously some more than others, they require a lot of skills. They're not beginner friendly, and often they take a lot of capital in order to get started. And if you're new to the whole space, who are just starting out like I was, it would take you a super long time to actually find success with these, and you're gonna have to work really, really hard. And yeah, I learned this the hard way with my own agency. I spent 2 years trying to grow the agency with no business experience. I'd never done sales. I didn't even know how to market. And ultimately, those 2 years I spent just grinding away without seeing any results. But over the last 2 years, I've done over 7 figures in sales, and I've seen a lot of opportunities within the online business space. And the one thing that really allowed me to have success was ultimately by learning and getting good at sales. In short, you can make 10K a month without starting your own business or setting up your own thing. You can do it simply by getting good and leveraging that high value skill to monetize by working for other businesses. There are already countless of online businesses that are super successful, doing 7, 8, sometimes even 9 figures a year, selling expensive products or services, typically ranging from like 3K plus. And you can literally piggyback the success of those online businesses by working in their sales team as a high ticket closer. And it's literally how I've helped guys like Matthias go from door knocking and cold calling in their old sales job to making over 15K a month consistently with high ticket sales. And how Sam went from struggling to start his own agency, having never sold anything in his life, to doing consistently over 20K a month by working for some of the biggest guys in the online business space. Or how Sean went from working in corporate sales to making over 7K in 1 week in under a month of joining Club Closer, in which he's now making 10K plus a month. So I want to start by just highlighting some of the problems with traditional sales jobs. So sales is by far, and without really much argument, one of the best industries to get into. It's an evergreen skill you're going to use in all areas of business and life, whether that be, negotiating a promotion, or trying to create a compelling offer for your own business, or even if you're just trying to get that cute girl's number at the bar, like you're selling. It's all sales skills. But obviously, to get back on topic, if you're selling the wrong product or you're selling in the wrong market, you could be shooting yourself in the foot. And take car sales, for example. You're going to be selling a 50K car, and you're going to see a very small percentage of that in your commission. The profit margin for selling a car is 5 to 7%. By the time the dealership has covered all its costs, whether that be, the real estate itself, everybody working in that dealership, all the marketing, accounting, everything else that goes into it, they're left with a very small sum of money in profit, which means for you as the salesman, you're probably going to walk away with less than 500 in commission for selling a 50K car. And the same kind of principles can be applied to a lot of different sales jobs, whether that be real estate, mortgage brokers, insurance brokers, a lot of door-to-door kind of products and services. They all have super low profit margins, which means, as a sales rep, you're going to get a very small commission. So compare that to a high ticket closer. A high ticket closer is basically a glorified sales rep. They sell expensive products or services, as I said, 3K plus. They work for in-demand online businesses, whether that be education companies, coaching, consulting, consultancy, sometimes SaaS companies. And these businesses have super high profit margins, typically 50% plus. And that's because they're online. They don't have a lot of costs, and oftentimes they're selling information. They're selling services that don't require a lot of startup capital, like coaching, education. All the content's already there. It doesn't cost an arm and a leg to actually deliver the service to the client. But of course, these businesses need salespeople to get more people into their business. So they'll happily pay you handsome commissions of 10 to 30% of that product cost for simply closing new business over the phone or over a Zoom call. And as a closer, you'll get calls booked directly into your calendar with qualified leads who have already seen and known about your product or service. Like, they've shown interest through whatever marketing or appointment setting methods these companies are using. There is a level of intent that that person has booked a call directly into your calendar, and they have intent on buying. So all you have to do is show up to those calls and get paid. No, you're a salesman. You're good at sales. You should be selling. You shouldn't be messing around, chasing leads, finding new business. You're simply focusing and doubling down on a skill you're already good at. So to use an example here, if you're selling a 10K coaching offer, you're probably going to get around 10% commission for closing that deal, which means you walk away with 1,000 for simply taking a sales call. And you can take these calls from, wherever you want in the world, because a lot of these businesses are 100% remote and work with international clients, throughout Europe, throughout Australia, throughout America. You can work pretty much from wherever you want. As a high ticket closer, you can comfortably earn 10K a month from working 3 to 5 hours a day. But I want to be super reserved and realistic here. Let's say you're closing 5K a month offer and you're making 10% commission, right? You're going to be making 500 for every single closed deal you make. If you take 5 calls every single weekday, that's 100 calls in a month. You just have to close 20 of those calls, which is a 20% close rate, which isn't even that good to be making 10K a month. But more to the point, why does this matter to you? And the point I'm trying to get across, if you're working a corporate or traditional sales job already, you're probably not that bad at sales. You already know the skill, you're just not making as much as you'd hoped, and you're selling yourself short. And in order to earn more in your current role, you're probably gonna have to work stupid hours to obviously hit unrealistic targets, or you're gonna have to, climb the corporate ladder, work in the business years and years, be as old as the furniture, till your hair goes gray, to actually make 6 figures plus a year. And what I'm trying to tell you is it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to wait years and years in order to hit 10K a month. Just from simply looking at the guys I mentioned at the start of this video, a lot of them had little to no sales experience when they first started, and they were able to do it in a matter of months. And this is purely down to the growing opportunities that are presenting themselves within the online business space right now. And if we simply take the online education industry and use that as an example, that industry is valued at anywhere from 300 million to 500 million. It's expected to 3x by 2030. So if you're currently working in sales, you could potentially earn 10K a month by simply switching to high ticket sales. You already know sales, you're already good at it, you're simply just in the wrong vehicle right now. If we want to break it down into 3 main categories for comparing high ticket sales to traditional sales, we could look at location, time, and the financial side of it. So time-wise, you're probably working a lot longer hours in corporate sales. You're clocking in at 9, you're clocking out at 5, maybe even later, managing your whole pipeline and working leads for months in order to close them. But with high ticket closing, calls are going to be booked directly into your calendar, and you're simply just going to have to close them. 1 or 2 call closes are very typical within the industry. Granted, outside of calls, you're obviously going to have to do your follow-ups. You know how important following up is in sales, and obviously do a bit of admin work like managing your CRM. Working 3 to 5 hours a day could easily see you earning way more than you currently are in your current job. Location-wise, you're probably tied to a specific location, whether that be an office, a showroom, or, you might be more remote, but you might have to cover a specific area and spend loads of time driving around it. Probably factors more into the time side of things too. And it's obviously massively limiting you with where and how you can spend your time. High ticket closing, it's 100% remote, and you can take calls from pretty much anywhere. As I said, a lot of these companies are international. They work in Europe, Australia, America, all over the place. High ticket closing is 100% remote. You can pretty much take these calls from anywhere in the world. Matthias is a good example of this. The last month, he's been working in Bali and taking calls for his client in the Netherlands. But of course, this doesn't mean you can take calls from the beach, the pool. You obviously need to be professional here. You need to have good internet. You need to make sure, you're representing the business well. But of course, it's going to unlock a lot more freedom for you. You might not even be that bothered about traveling, but simply being able to miss the rush hour or go to the gym at a quieter time can have a massive impact on your life. And financially speaking, of course, there are some corporate and traditional sales jobs where you can earn a lot of money, but a lot of them will have you capped or, not earning as much as you can. And one way to really break this down is simply by looking at what you make per hour. So let's assume you're currently making 10K a month in your corporate sales job, which is great. But if you're working 5 days a week and you're working 9 to 5, over the course of a month, you're gonna be working 160 hours. So 10K divided by 160 equates to $62.50 per hour. That's how much you're gonna be making in your current sales job. Whereas if you compare that to high ticket closing, and you're working 5 hours a day and you're also making 10K a month, you'll be doing $100 an hour, which is pretty much double. Compare that to high ticket sales. If you're also working 5 days a week, but you're only working 5 hours a day, taking those calls booked in your calendar, you'd be earning $100 an hour, which is pretty much double. And we're not factoring in commute, overtime, anything like that outside of that. Of course, I'm slightly biased on it, but I hope this gives you guys a clear comparison on traditional sales jobs versus entering the high ticket closing space. And by this point, if you got this far in the video, you're probably considering high ticket closing. So I'd love to walk you through exactly how you can become a high ticket closer and start working for one of these online companies within a matter of weeks. So you can go ahead and check out the video I filmed last week where I walk you through step by step how basically you can do the exact same. I'll link it in the description or somewhere on the screen if I can figure that out. And lastly, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And of course, you can subscribe. I'm going to be posting videos like this every single week. See you on the next one.